Because you are a prisoner to your expected outcomes and your definitions of what things are and who people will be. You've been suffering and you've been sad. You find yourself up some days you're down. Because you constantly are trying to control uncontrollable variables. You're constantly writing scripts that other people have never seen that you expect them to follow. You are creating characters and bringing people in to play them as it suits you, as you have identified and interpret their ability to play the role in your life. You decided that that man was good enough to be your husband. Probably ain't had too many conversations about his desire to be a husband or even be your husband before you started concocting strategy after strategy, wearing certain things, talking in certain ways. Come on now. A plan is something that two people come up with or a group of people come up with where everyone has knowledge of what is being done. A plot is something that one person comes up with or a group of people comes up inside of a bigger group that everybody is not aware of, but everyone will be affected by. We do way more plotting than planning. We call our plotting planning. We justify our plots by saying that, it was the best for you anyway. It's not like what I was going to do or what I was trying to accomplish was not for your good. And even when it has severe outcomes and consequences for the people that we plotted on, we lean back on our intentions. Well, I intended for it to be good for you. So even though it hurt you and even though it didn't go the way I foreseen it in my imagination, when I was delusionally thinking that I was picturing the best for you moving forward, you got to give me some credit because at least my intentions was good. When you understand how you sound to the people that you have operated as a terrorist to, you'll be a little slower to open your mouth and expect people to partner with it at least. If you want to stick to that presentation, that at least your intentions were good when you started to plotting instead of planning because you don't have communication skills, but you do know how to be deceptive, then, you stand on it, sweetie, or bid out. Because it's not one particular gender that does it. It's not one demographic that does it. We're all weaving, constantly weaving narratives, constantly weaving plots. And there is no plot without a character. There is no plot without a setting. When somebody posts their memes on their stories, whether they want to believe it or not, trust me, it's a lot of things that I say that you will not agree with because you are looking at it in the physical and you are going inside of your ego to define what it is that you're doing. So you come up with a justification just if, cause no other reason I wanted to do it. The justification, they're all as stupid as the people in front of you sound when you have identified an inconsistency that is familiar to you that you are trying to point out in grace. And somebody is kicking back and defending themselves in the childish manner that people go into when they don't know how to receive correction and they do not have a extreme appetite for truth. Understand, if you are seeking comfort, truth and knowledge is not something that you're going to tolerate much of, because it's not very comfortable, especially when you're coming fresh out of illusions. Fresh out of illusions, truth ain't comfortable. Fresh out of illusions, truth is destructive. The truth has come to destroy everything that you have cherished and thought was real. That's exactly why up until this point, as you've partnered with the fleshly mind, the carnal mindset, you have longed for the very things that were attempting to destroy the indestructible I am on the inside of you. The best that these people know that they can do is keep you distracted and keep you from seeing and becoming aware and realizing and acknowledging the truth of yourself. They know that they can't take it from you They've done a ton of things to your food, a ton of things to your medicine, a ton of things to the indoctrination that you go through in school and religion to try to keep you disconnected from the source on the inside of you that could never leave or forsake you, that you were freely extended and given prior to birth. So like I was saying, when you post these positive memes, this is nothing more than you putting on display what you believe you're supposed to believe, and what you believe has value for other people to believe. When you post the little condescending, judgmental ones, that's you posting how you genuinely think and who you genuinely are in response to people's negativity and their inconsistency and misidentification. If there was no partnership with it, it would not have resonated with anything on the inside of you. And if it's not truthful and it's not loving and it resonates with something on the inside of you, then it's because there's something on the inside of you other than love. And if there's something on the inside of you other than love, then that means that you are harboring toxins, because you were created love. And the one who created you as love, because he created you as an extension of himself. So you become the abundance of love. You become an endless source of love. You become the extension of ceaseless love, unconditionally given. So if there's something else on the inside of you, then again, you've misidentified yourself. You've partnered with a lower expression of who you think you are to be, and you have become imprisoned once again. A lot of times we do this totally unbeknownst to ourselves. I found somebody that I enjoy. I connected with them. They fed me. They encouraged me with things they said, things that they did, the attention that they showered me with. I grew attached to it. And then they left. OMG. What happened? Why would they ever do this to me? Why did they ever leave? Why did they ever go? I'll never be the same. Of course you'll never be the same. I hope after you become aware that you've done it again, that you've developed another idol, that you've attached yourself to another image that you thought made you whole, as if you weren't created whole and perfect, and you weren't on the path to recovering that information and returning to original form before you bumped into this person along the way. And I hope by now you see that every time you get on the path to recovering to original form and you get to making some traction, there's somebody that you bump into along the way. I hope that you can see the wheel, the cycle. I hope that you can see how you take yourself into your mind and you tell yourself that here is the plan to get you to the finish line, and then you start out on course, and then you get distracted and you end up detouring, and then you suffer from the detour emotionally, and you come back to the path with a new plan, and then you begin the path again, and there's a new distraction that you think is a part of the path, and you detour again, and you suffer for that even more, and you say you see it for real this time, and you come back to the path, and then you do it again. Because every time you bump into one of these distractions, you find yourself identifying yourself with them. You find yourself relating to them so much, attaching yourself to them so much, trying to fix them so much, that you lose sight of yourself once again. And I'm telling you, any relationship that needs you to separate yourself from yourself is not a relationship, it's a prison. It's a silly goal to try to disconnect the person from themselves, because once you do that, all you're left with is a performer. All you're left with is a shell. All you're left with is one who will be a chameleon and basically move and migrate to anywhere that they can get acceptance and approval, which is what many people have reduced their presentation down to, because they don't know just how much value is on the inside of themselves, just how much their presence and time is worth, just how powerful and how much their attention can manifest, not only for them, but for the people around them. They don't know how strong their negative emotions that they've carried for years and harbored on the inside are. So they don't understand why people eventually ran from them. They don't understand that the bitterness that developed as they saw themselves persecuted and attacked by outside sources, but really suffering from nothing other than partnering with vain imaginations of things they never wanted to go into and things they never wanted to have happen, but called to themselves with their extreme attention and fascination with. It really made you unpleasant. It really made you almost intolerable, especially for someone who was recovering from being in that very same mindset themselves. If I'm learning how to love me and I'm learning how to extend myself in love all over again after coming out of a delusional mindset, the last thing I need, the last thing that I enjoy, the last thing that I want is someone delusional who is fighting against the truth that will reveal to them the error of their ways and allow for them to drop the act and recover to the same original form that I come from. If you have no interest in recovery, I have no interest in connection. I don't want to be a part of your illusionary world, even if it has days where it seems to be fun, because I know that in the long run I will suffer for being in your delusion. The minute that something goes wrong, the minute that something crashes, the minute that something is out of place, your smiles turn into bitterness, your compliments turn into insults, your pet names turn into accusations and outlandish statements. You're not suffering because them people left you. You're suffering because those people revealed to you that they are not who you wanted them to be, and that they cannot play the role, or they're not willing or capable to play the role that you assigned for them to play in your life. But again, whoever told you that you were supposed to put dependency on another person for your happiness, your peace, your joy? Oh, he my peace. That's Miss make it happen. Well, if she miss make it happen, then what do? If he your peace, then you must be chaos. Because clearly, you guys aren't enjoying the peace together. There's an assigned player within your partnership whose role is to fix what you consider broken. And that's not a relationship. That's a business arrangement that probably has, I won't even say little benefit for the man, but temporary benefits for the man. When I'm loving you, I'm giving myself in ways that you can't even imagine unless you've partnered with me in love and you understand how to freely extend yourself as well. But when you extend yourself to somebody who is not familiar with the presentation of love, what you get in return is temporary gratification. And temporary gratification in the face of eternal love being extended is an insult. This is how you know that we be distracted. Because let me explain something to you about love. If you are concerned with the return of the investment of love, it's not love. Love is the free extension of all that is good to another. That is the act of giving love. It's free, unconditional, no strings attached, not performance-based, irrevocable. So when you're loving another person, you are still single in sight. Thine eye is still single, so your whole body is full of light, and you are extending that light to another light being so that you can share in relationship and in communion with another the goodness that flows and is bubbling and bursting on the inside of you. You have no time to be concerned with what they're doing. You're not toggling back and forth in between love and judgment. Oh, I'm extending myself freely. Oh, I'm observing whether they're appreciating it and whether they're reciprocating it and they're giving to me freely as well. Oh, well, if you're leaning, you're not loving. Love stands firm. It is consistent. It doesn't go away and come back. It doesn't have seasons. In the Bible, if you really read it for what it is and you don't leave out the weird parts, understand my government name my grandmother named me Jonathan. So when I went to find Jonathan in the Bible, I was looking to find something to boast about and go back to school and talk about. But I really just found a story about a man who was said to be after God's own heart, who had a kind of weird fascination and affectionate love for another son of a king, Jonathan. And Jonathan and David was said to have loved each other in ways that I couldn't explain when I thought that it was a literal historical presentation that actually took place physically. But now I understand when I look at a lot of the stories in the Bible that mess with our sexualized mind that has associated love and the extension of self with sex. I see the message of love being genderless. I can't love you more than I love a man because I can have sex with you because I'm not into the alternate lifestyle. That's not what love is. That's this carnal presentation. That's a carnal mindset wrapped in nothing but the flesh that keeps you blind to the truth of you, the other person, and the Creator. You're misusing the creation. The Creator said that they were designed for you to love them and to edify and exchange value with them, not use them for your own selfish pleasure that's only gonna last a couple minutes, maybe an hour or two if you know what you're doing. But you say that you love God and you love people, and you're willing to misuse one who is built and designed to be the full expression of everything that the Creator is in the blink of an eye. Willing to deceive one, willing to mislabel one and hold them hostage to who you need them to be so that your story doesn't fall apart. And if somebody was to tell you how fragile you were and how unstable your presentation was, you would argue till you was blue in the face about how you knew what you was doing, how it was really love, and how it was something that even God would co-sign if he could come tell you himself. Lock in. Go home free today.